Hi guys, in this video I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can pass the Certificate of Proficiency in English without wasting your money in textbooks or in going to classes. Alright, let's start. This is what I'm going to be covering here. First, I will give you some general tips about the exam, and then I will cover each specific part in a separate video with some specific tips for that part. And finally, I will give you some resources to study on your own and to prepare for the exam. First of all, you need to ask yourself why you are taking this exam. So, there are many different reasons why people take such exams, but I would say that unless it's going to help you get a better job or a job at all, or as some people that I met in the exam is going to raise your salary, if you're not one of these, then it's not worth taking the exam. I did it because it can certainly help you to find a new job, and right now that's what I'm all about, and in my case can be helpful. However, I met some people there too that were taking the exam just for the fun of it, almost, or because they said that it was a challenge for them. My opinion, well, I respect their point, but to me that's bullshit. If you want a challenge, why not save the 230 euros that this exam costs? And when you travel abroad to an English-speaking country with those 230 euros, you can spend 4 or 5 days extra there and challenge yourself in a real English-speaking country. I mean, if all that you're interested in is in having a paper that costs 230 euros just for the challenge, then why not use your money in something more useful than a piece of paper? However, if it can help you get to a better job or something like that, then definitely this exam can help. Or if you want to go study abroad and you need it. But if it's just for the challenge, I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. So, why going to classes won't help you pass the exam? Basically because this exam is not about something that you learn in a class. This exam is about using English the way it is used in everyday life situations, like in debates or in conversations or in radio or in the newspaper. So going to classes isn't going to be a substitute for what you can get from real world materials. Yeah, you have a teacher that can point you in the right direction, but you can do that on your own too, and I'm going to show you how here. Why textbooks won't help you? Again, textbooks are designed to give you an idea of what the exam is going to be like, and there are other types of textbooks that are crafted to present you with the most common errors that people make in this exam, but you don't need a textbook for that. You have many online websites that tell you what common mistakes are or where you can learn grammar, and that's not the right mindset to have for this exam. Thinking about grammar, you need to have the grammar so integrated in you that you don't think about it anymore. You just talk, or you just write, or you just read. You don't stop to think if what you are saying or doing is right or wrong. And if you haven't reached that point yet, then don't take the exam yet, because you will not be ready for it. Well, I have to say that people that by talking to them I wouldn't say that they have a C2 level, still they got the exam. So It's not so hard as it seems at first sight, but you don't want to take any chances and risk wasting 200 euros for a second attempt. You want to get it in your first try. So textbooks aren't going to help you prepare for this exam any more than watching TV in English or reading online newspapers or whatever, because the contents of this exam are taken from there, not from textbooks. Textbooks just compilate some of these materials and present them to you together, but you don't need a textbook for that. Another advice that you hear very often is that you need to be very used to using English dictionaries to study so that you increase your vocabulary. That's fine, but you don't need that. If you are aiming to C2 level, you shouldn't rely on this to improve your English. It should be so good already that if you read a definition in the dictionary, it won't help you regardless of whether you read it in English or in your own language, because the idea behind this is that you read an English definition and then you encounter new words that you don't know, and then you look at those new words and start to enter an endless cycle of looking at new words, and that can become a waste of time because many words really don't guarantee anything. If you spend a lot of time looking at words that are very specific, that hardly ever appear in what you read or what you say, chances are that you're first not going to remember them, and second, you're not gonna have many more chances to use them. So really, to pass this exam, you don't need to have a huge vocabulary of very specific topics. That's basically a waste of time. Some other things that you need to keep in mind for this exam. First is that the fact that you know English doesn't mean that you will pass the CPE, but if you have passed it, it really means that you know your shit. So yeah, you can be sure that CPE ensures that you know English, but not the opposite. As it says here, you don't really either know English or not know it, or any other language for that matter. You actually are more or less used to using it in more or less or fewer situations. So yeah, you need to reach a point when you can use it without thinking. There is no binary 0 or 1, you know or you don't know English. You know more or less. So keep that in mind. Again, many people have told you this already. Don't be afraid of making mistakes while you're learning. And especially in speaking, the embarrassment that you will feel when you say something wrong and someone corrects you right there will help you to remember that better than if you just wrote it wrong, because you would forget about that. But if you hesitate in the exam, look for the easiest way or the way that you know to say something. Don't try to improvise. Yeah, and finally, my impression is that in this exam, mistakes are more penalized than the advanced things that you say are taken into account. So mainly focus on not screwing up. Don't risk making stupid mistakes and think that you're going to compensate those with very advanced idioms or things like that, because the most important thing is that you can say things correctly, and if you make stupid mistakes, probably they are going to penalize you a lot more for those.